Hello everybody, I'm Amber. Welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be giving you my not as traditional tips for dealing with morning sickness during pregnancy. For those of you that do not know, I am currently 23 weeks pregnant with my first baby, and if you didn't guess already, I had really bad morning sickness. So for me, the morning sickness started at about 7 weeks of pregnancy, and it continued well into my second trimester. And when I say morning sickness, I really mean all day sickness, because I would wake up nauseous, and I felt nauseous most of the day until I went to bed. And sometimes I would even wake up in the middle of the night and feel really nauseous. I did end up throwing up quite a bit. I threw up just about every single day, sometimes twice a day, but for the most part, it was just like a once a day occurrence. And unfortunately for me, there really was no schedule. I've heard some women say that they know they're going to feel the most nauseous after lunch or right when they wake up. And for me, it just depended on the day. Sometimes it was the worst right at the beginning of the day. Sometimes it was at night when I felt the worst, and that's when I would get actually sick. So, like I said, a lot of the traditional remedies just did not provide any relief for me. So if that's you, then I am sorry, but I'm glad that you're here now. I do also want to give a quick disclaimer that I'm not a professional. This is not medical advice, and I know that morning sickness, or whatever you want to call it, all day sickness, it can be extremely debilitating, way worse than what I had. And so if that is you, or even if you did have symptoms like what I had, then please do not hesitate to talk to your provider, because I know that there are some cases where women need to be hospitalized. So do not neglect your health. Definitely go and seek medical advice if that is necessary for you. Okay, so that is enough chit chat. Let's just get into the tips. Okay, so tip number 1 is to try citrus instead of ginger. I generally really like ginger, and ginger is one of the things that is constantly recommended for women dealing with nausea during pregnancy, like ginger tea, the ginger chews, ginger ale. There's ginger supplements that you could take, but I was so disgusted by everything ginger. I bought the ginger chews, and there was a time that I was driving and I popped one of those in my mouth, and I was almost certain that that was going to be the thing that was going to make me throw up. So I just took it out of my mouth, and that was the first and last time that I tried the ginger chews. I did try ginger ale. I actually don't know why that is recommended at all, because there's barely any ginger in it, and it's mostly sugar. So the ginger ale 100% did not help. I like ginger ale, I enjoy it as a beverage, but I think it was just so sugary, and I wasn't eating very much because I felt so sick all of the time. So just having this really sugary drink in my stomach with hardly any food was just not working for me. So I started instead squeezing a half of a lemon or a half of a lime into some water, and that definitely provided some relief. I mean, it didn't provide hours of relief, but at least while I was sipping on that water, I didn't feel quite so nauseous. Something about the citrus just kind of cut through the nausea a little bit. So the citrus water was huge for me. Or if I wanted something a little bit more soothing, then I would just microwave a cup of water for, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute, and then same thing, just squeeze some lemon or lime in there and drink that with a little drizzle of honey or something like that. So it was kind of more like a lemon tea. And that just like, I don't know, it was very refreshing. It definitely helped, and it helped me stay a little bit more hydrated than just like plain water, because plain water was very disgusting to me during that time. I don't know why, but it was. The second tip that I have is to not overeat if and when you do start to feel a little bit better. Something that I see a lot of people recommending is to have like smaller, more frequent meals throughout the day. That was very, very hard for me because, like I said, I was just nauseous all day. And so I didn't really have the desire to eat like more frequently. So I kind of just stuck with like trying to get in, you know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and attempting to have like a little snack in between those. But what I did notice is that if at any point while I was having one of those 3 main meals, I started to feel a little bit better, there were a few times where I guess like I got excited that I was feeling kind of okay, and I just like stuffed myself. You know, I mean, not even because I was like extra hungry, but I just was excited that I felt well enough to eat and enjoy my food. And so I ate like way more than I should have. And then shortly after, the nausea would return. And then on top of feeling nauseous, I had that like uncomfortable stuffed feeling. And that just made me feel so sick. So, I mean, so if you want to try the small meals thing, go for it. Maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. But no matter what, I would just recommend, like, once you feel full, just stop. Just stop, because if you are experiencing really bad nausea, then there's a good chance it's going to return, and you are not going to be happy if you feel crazy full and nauseous on top of that. Number 3 is to give yourself 5 to 10 minutes, if possible, after you eat to just relax. I noticed that if I immediately tried to like get up and do the dishes or something like that after eating one of the main meals, I would start to feel really sick really quickly. And that's not to say that I wouldn't have felt sick otherwise, but I just noticed that it was worse if I was trying to do something right after eating. And so I would literally just eat my meal. Maybe I would go put my dish in the sink, and then I would just sit down either in my chair at the table, or I would just come sit on the couch for 5 or 10 minutes and just do nothing while I like digested a little bit. Of course, digestion is going to take more than 5 to 10 minutes, but at least for that like initial bit of it, I would just sit there and do nothing. And I found that that was helpful, at least in prolonging the nausea coming on. And when you are nauseous all of the time, 5 to 10 minutes of relief is like, that is everything. Number 4 is to give yourself some grace and to be gentle with yourself when it comes to what you are eating. I personally had planned to have like a really healthy pregnancy, and now that I'm past the morning sickness phase, I feel like I am. But in that first trimester, I ate out way more than I wanted to. We barely cooked at home because the smell of cooking food just made me so sick. And then just this like the lingering smell of the food afterwards, like even if we would open up windows and doors, like I could still just smell that food had been cooked in our apartment. Because during pregnancy, you might experience a heightened sense of smell. So we did not do a lot of cooking in the first trimester. And on top of that, when something did sound good, because like I had said, I wasn't eating as much as I probably should have been. So when something did sound good, I wanted to make sure that I just had it like as soon as possible before the feeling passed and I started to feel really sick again. So, you know, there was like a time where mashed potatoes sounded like something that I could eat and not get sick over. And so I was like, babe, let's just go get mashed potatoes from KFC right now because I know it's right down the street. They will have mashed potatoes and I don't feel like it will make me throw up. So there were a lot of moments like that. And so, like I said, just give yourself grace, be gentle with yourself. You know, food from somewhere is better than no food at all. This tip was huge for me, and that is to take a plastic bag, or actually I would say take 2 plastic bags with you like everywhere you go. So if you like go to Target and you get one of those like plastic shopping bags, don't throw it away, keep it, and then put it in your purse so that when you go to the grocery store or to get gas or wherever it is that you need to go, if you need to go somewhere, you have something to get sick in if that happens. Hopefully it doesn't, but I started doing that before I ever got sick in public, and I'm really glad I did because I was able to relax a little bit more if I needed to actually go out somewhere, because I knew that I wasn't going to have to worry about like finding a bathroom or finding a trash can or, you know, or just like finding an appropriate place to throw up. So having a bag for me, or like I said, preferably 2 bags so that you have a second one just in case. I don't know, it just really eased my mind, and like I said, I was able to relax more, which I feel like will or could help with the nausea, because if you're nauseous and on top of that you're stressed out, those two probably aren't going to mix well. So you might as well be able to relax knowing that you are prepared if you do need to get sick in public. And my last tip, which actually might be the most important, like if you take nothing else from this video, take this, and that is to shift your mindset. So I really believe in the power of the mind, and I'm not going to tell you to try to tell yourself that you're not experiencing morning sickness and your mind is just going to overcome that feeling. I don't know if that's possible because, you know, if you feel sick, then you feel sick. But I changed my mindset from constantly trying to like cure my morning sickness to instead realizing that I'm not actually sick and I'm growing a human, so there's nothing really to be cured. And instead, I changed my mindset from that to allowing myself to rest often and as much as I needed, and basically to go into like preservation mode, because I realized that there could potentially not be any like getting rid of or curing the nausea and the sickness, and that it was something that I might just need to sit with and experience. And so I feel like that just kind of acceptance helped me, not necessarily to feel like super good about it or anything, but I don't know, it just helped me to give myself the rest and relaxation that I needed, and to accept how I was feeling and to enjoy the moments of relief when they came, and to realize that at some point this too shall pass. And it did. So if you are experiencing morning sickness, mama, I am so sorry. You will get through it, and hopefully it does get better, but my heart is with you if it's really bad and debilitating for you. Hopefully some of these are helpful to you. If you have any tips that are like not as traditional, please leave them in the comments, because the more tips for relief, the better. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this or find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to follow along on my pregnancy journey, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.